Welcome to Waffle's Hardware. Today we're going to take a look at the simplest way to upgrade an old system. Let's say you're just tired of playing on the console and want to join the PC master race. Well, it doesn't always have to be that expensive, so here's a cheap way to start with PC gaming. Of course, you can spend thousands or €100 on new computer hardware, but we're just going to take the easy route and go with used hardware. The way we're going to do it is we're going to either assume that you have a pre-built system without a graphics card, for example a quad-core, 8 gigs of RAM, or you buy one on eBay. You can get them fairly cheap, for example an old Dell Optiplex. The problem with those systems is that usually they come with pretty shitty power supplies and they don't have a proprietary connector for the PCI Express power. Well, the way we're going to do it is we choose a graphics card that doesn't need proprietary power. That's why I chose an RX 550 for this video. So, what can you expect to pay for this card? Well, you can pay anywhere between 50 to 60 euros. I wouldn't say it's that great of a deal, since for that price you can get a GTX 1050 and in all honesty, it's a little bit better card, but for this video I wanted to go Team Red. This specific card we are looking at is the Radeon RX 550 from XFX. It has a standard core clock of 1200 MHz, a memory clock of 1750 MHz, and it sports 2 GB of GDDR5. Due to the fact that the card doesn't need a proprietary power connector, it is limited to the 75 watts it can draw through the PCI Express slot. Due to this limitation, the card is able to stay under 60 degrees even under load, and due to this headroom I overclocked the card to 1450 MHz on the core and to 1850 on the memory, and those will be the settings that I'll be using for the entire benchmarks. All the games will be run in 1080p and mostly low settings. The only exception is Counter-Strike. For the rest of the hardware for the test, I'm using a Ryzen 7 2700X as well as 16 gigs of DDR4 3000. Here are all the timestamps for the benchmarks. As for this game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the footage you see in the background isn't actually captured from this card. At the end you'll see the real score of this card, but when I started recording it significantly impacted the FPS performance. Alright then, enjoy the benchmark.
Deploying flashbang. Throwing a grenade. He's got the bomb. 3 to go. Help! I'm pinned. 2 guys. enemies left. That makes one. On my way.
Terrorists win.
This was our victory.
If you want to get a cheap way to get into ESL games, for example League of Legends or Counter-Strike, well, I can easily recommend this card, even at a higher resolution. But if you want to play something more graphically demanding, some AAA games for example, you're just going to see that the 2 GB video memory won't cut it. You run into limitations even in 1080p. If you have any recommendations for the benchmark or specific budget hardware you want to see, just leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more of this content in the future, be sure to subscribe.